Hey everybody, it's your old pal Chuck, and I'm back with another review. I hope everyone's staying safe and staying sane. Uh, I'm just here trying to bring you a little bit of entertainment like all the other creators on YouTube are. And today we're taking a look at from the Transformers Earthrise line. This is Voyager class Starscream. I was able to eventually get this figure off of Amazon.com, which was after the figure could be found in all brick and mortar retail locations for at least a month and a half. I've addressed that before in a previous video, but I don't know if it's an agreement that that Hasbro has with the other retailers, that Amazon cannot release figures at the same time as everyone else, or it was just one of those happy accidents. Before we begin the video, I just want to point something out here. As you notice, Starscream does have those combat system ports, but this is the battle team, the Decepticon attack squad. I forgot what the name of the team is, but this is their combined weapon mode, and it's been like this since I initially reviewed them. And as you can see, the little peg here that connects the front half to the rear was either loose at the start or has come loose over time. It's pinned in and basically has made this weapon completely unusable and not fun. I'm a little disappointed by that because these usually are the better combined weapons than, say, the cars that lay one on top of the other, but at least those type of weapons are holding. So if we do get more Micromasters in the line, which we are, I hope their combined weapons are a little bit better than this, because this is just not fun, not usable. And I mean, some people have said that there was supposed to be a connection point where this should come over more to peg in here, and I don't know, maybe it was scrap, but I just wanted to show that off as like a little bit of an update to the figure. And I mean, it's completely unusable in its weapon mode. But there's Starscream. Much like Grapple and Wheeljack and even Optimus Prime, some people have referred to Starscream as a masterpiece, killer masterpiece like. And I have to say, I fully agree. This is probably the best classic G1 style Starscream figure you can get, and that includes Masterpiece 11. Everything comes together quite nicely and tightly in both vehicle and robot mode. And really, outside of a couple knickknacks and stuff like that, which we may be getting some of those in a special store exclusive release, there's really no reason to go for a Masterpiece version over this. Outside of, the Masterpiece is bigger and will have slightly more articulation and will fit in with your other Masterpiece figures. But this is, as we can see here, Starscream does have the null rays, combat ports, and what have you. So, yeah, I really think we can just start with the transformation. Go ahead, make your life easier, remove the guns from under the wings. You can actually leave them on if you so desire, but, they come off. It is what it is. And starting with the wings here, just pull out slightly, because they do peg in to a little notch right there. So rotate them up. There is a double hinge. We'll do that again on this side, from this angle. And basically the rear pegs in there, and there's a little friction nub right there. So just like so. Interesting that there are these little slots there. I don't know what that's for. Possibly when these get this model will get retooled into the cone heads. Who knows? But once that's done, come around to the rear of the jet, flip up the side fins just like so. Wiggle it loose a little, just so that the what will be the legs untabs from the main body, come underneath the jet, flip up this red section, and then open up the legs and telescope them out so everything is stable, and then close them back up, peg into the legs. Then come around to this section right here, the rear tail fin. Now there's a little bit of an automorph, well, not really, but As you rotate the tail fin down into position, the back heel of the foot rotates forward. So we'll just do that again, bring it forward, and then rotate the front of the toe. And you can go ahead and split the legs and bring down the crotch guard. There is ankle pivot, as with all Siege and Earthrise figures thus far. Now, let me adjust Mr. Camera ever so slightly. Now for the tricky part of the transformation, and that has to do with getting the chest open. There are these little... It kind of like pegs into these like plastic clips, and you get one loose, the other one's kind of easier to do. Oh, that was actually the easiest I've done it, but you want to unhook it, rotate this whole section open. If this looks familiar from the old Classics Deluxe, that's because it's very similar. Fold out the arms, just like so. Bring down the cockpit, so it's about, it's basically looking like this. Rotate it around. Telescope it down and collapse it into the chest. That little tail piece will fit into a groove inside the chest. Make sure everything, the arms are in position, and that will snap back into place just like so. There is a little bit of a gap, but it's not that bad once you have it in person. Take the top of the nose cone, fold it all the way back and down against the back like so. And that's all that's left to do now is the hands. And the hands are a little tricky, believe it or not, just because the joints are stiff. You want to open up this forearm section, which is a little, like I said, a little stiff to do. Just like that. And you want to accordion it out. Now, when going back to jet mode, you want to make sure that little gray section comes through that hole right there. But once you have it open like that, close the forearm, bring the fist down, rinse and repeat on the other side. If I can just grab it, like there we go. And telescope it out, close it up, and bring it down, just like so. And the last bit is, of course, putting the null rays back on the figure. And unlike the Classics figure that had those giant missile launchers, there is enough clearance between the arms and the wings that the null rays don't hit. But if you so desire, you can also angle the wings back, do what you will. This is your figure. You can position it any way you see fit. And there is Starscream in its robot mode. You have a little bit of a smirk going on with the head there, with the face. Very slight, not as pronounced as what should have been on the Siege version, which ended up going to Thundercracker, I believe. Oh, and also, I think Red Wing as well had the Starscream head. But at least this looks nice. And I have to say, it is a very nice version of that classic Starscream mold. If we never get another G1 style Starscream figure, that will be fine. Because I think this does the job perfectly. So, we'll pause, and I'll be back with my final thoughts. Well, if you can't figure it out already, I really dig this Starscream figure. Now, I've actually had this debate in the comments of other reviews. I don't know if I like this figure more than Optimus Prime or Cliffjumper. But those three right now are kind of tied for my three favorite figures from the Wave 1 of Earthrise. But I mean, depending on what they're going to do with this model and the frame, are we going to get Thundercracker and Skywarp? Are we going to get the cone heads and such? If the Transformers Collectors Club was still around, we'd be getting, like, this would become the new Seeker mold. But, as it is, I think it's fantastic. It's a great use for Starscream, and definitely worth the pickup. As I mentioned in the beginning, I got it off of Amazon.com. I think it's available there right now. I haven't checked lately, but for those of you who are unaware, Amazon has shifted their distribution model to focusing on medical and household essentials for the time being. Now, originally that was going to go to April 5th, but I've seen some listings that are saying that stuff won't ship until much later in the month. Hey, they got to do what they got to do to get stuff out to people. So if Starscream is available off of Amazon, it just may take you a little bit longer to get it. It is in brick and mortar retail, but I'll be honest with you, you really should not be going out to stores right now to buy toys. Let's just, we can wait. There'll be plenty. Trust me. I think he's getting repacked in a later wave. And we are going to get some variations on the colors and this and that. And, so if you're not the biggest fan of Starscream, I'm sure there'll be a flavor and a color suited for you. But definitely, it's worth a pickup. This is your old pal Chuck for Starscream. We will see you next time.